Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a serious topic that needs to be discussed. Cheating. Yes, you heard it right. You sitting there might be going through it without even realizing it yet. But don't worry, I'm here to help you spot those signs and handle things the best way possible. So buckle up because we're diving straight into it, no holds barred. Before we get started, I want to say that I've been through some tough situations too. Yep, my friend, I've been blindsided by someone I fully trusted. But you know what I learned from that? The signs were there all along, I just didn't see them. And that's precisely why I'm here today, to show you that you're not alone in this. Let's identify these clues together, and maybe dodge some headaches down the road. So let's get to it, guys. Budding male friend or colleague. Now pay close attention to this first sign that could indicate trouble in paradise. If she starts mentioning a male friend or colleague frequently, it's time to keep an eye out. It might just be friendship, of course, but when details about this guy start popping up more than usual, it's time to sound the alarm. For instance, if she used to rarely bring up this so-called friend, but now it seems like he's always in the conversation. Whether it's about work, college, or other contexts, it's time to question things. Maybe she talks about the places they've been together, the jokes they share, or even praises this friend's qualities too much. These subtle changes can reveal more than you think. So, if you notice this behavior, don't panic, but don't let it slide either. Repeat it over time. All right, folks, now let's talk about another important sign that shouldn't go unnoticed. If suddenly she's frequently staying late at work, it's time to sound the alarm again. I know it might seem innocent at first glance because, hey, everyone needs to work, right? But when these overtime sessions become a routine, it's time to dig deeper. For example, I remember a friend who noticed his girlfriend started staying late at the office more often. At first, he thought it was just a busy work period, but soon he realized something wasn't right. Her excuses seemed increasingly vague, and he decided to investigate. And guess what? He ended up discovering she was cheating on him with a colleague. Believe me, these situations happen more often than we imagine. So stay alert to the signs, folks. Excessive attention to the phone. Now let's talk about something that has become almost an extension of ourselves: the cell phone. It's amazing how much this little device can reveal about what's going on in a relationship. If she starts paying more attention to her phone than to you, it's time to keep your eyes wide open. Let's delve into this issue further. Maybe she used to hardly take her eyes off you when you were together, but suddenly you notice a change. She's absorbed in her phone, replying to messages lightning fast or spending hours on social media without even noticing your presence. This could be a sign that something's wrong. I mean, why is she more interested in what's happening online than in spending time with you? Stay tuned because this might be more important than it seems. So, my friends, don't underestimate the power of those shiny screens. Sometimes they can reveal much more than we imagine. Decrease in intimacy. Let's explore another sign that can indicate serious issues in the relationship. I'm talking about a decrease in intimacy, both emotional and sexual. It's hard to admit, but when that special connection between you two starts to cool off, it's time to pay attention. Before, you were inseparable, shared intimate moments, and showed affection easily. But suddenly, you notice a change. Hugs and kisses become scarce, deep conversations disappear, and even interest in sex diminishes. If she seems distant and uninterested in being close to you, it's a red flag. For example, she might avoid physical contact, reject affection, or even avoid deep gazes. Conversations, once full of enthusiasm and interest, become superficial and disinterested. If you notice this kind of change, don't ignore it. It's important to address this issue with sensitivity and try to understand what's going on. Suddenly filled social calendar. And continuing our journey to understand the signs of potential relationship issues, let's now address an aspect that might go unnoticed. The sudden change in the social calendar. If suddenly she's always busy with events and social activities, but you're never invited, it's time to pay attention. Let's take a closer look at this behavior. Maybe you used to spend more time together, sharing moments and making plans. But now, she's constantly busy, whether it's with dinners, parties, or other social commitments, and you're not part of those plans. This might raise suspicions, especially if she seems reluctant to talk about these events or gets nervous when questioned about them. It's a red flag that can't be ignored. So if you notice you're being left out of these social activities, it's important to address this issue calmly and with open communication. It might just be a coincidence, but it could also indicate that something's wrong. Excessive questioning. Let's now address a behavior that can leave anyone feeling uneasy. Excessive questioning. If suddenly she starts constantly questioning your activities and interactions with other people, it's time to pay attention. Let's examine this pattern of behavior more closely. Have you found yourself being interrogated about every step you take, every person you talk to, and every place you go? If so, know that you're not alone. Many partners face this uncomfortable situation where trust is replaced by constant questioning. This kind of behavior can indicate insecurity, but it can also be a sign that she's trying to hide something. I'll share a real story to better illustrate this scenario. For example, a friend of mine began to notice that his girlfriend was constantly questioning his outings with friends, his work hours, and even his interactions on social media. At first, he thought it was just concern, but soon he realized there was something more behind these incessant questions. To his disappointment, he discovered that his girlfriend was actually cheating on him with a colleague. Those seemingly concerned questions were actually an attempt to cover up her infidelities. This experience, along with others like it, reminds us how excessive questioning can be a warning sign in a relationship. Obvious behavioral changes. Sometimes the most revealing clues are in the small differences in behavior and expression. If you notice subtle but significant changes in her behavior, it's time to pay attention. I'll highlight some of these changes and how to identify them. For example, she might start acting more reserved, avoiding discussions about the relationship, or becoming more defensive when questioned. Maybe her facial expressions change when you're together, or she seems uncomfortable discussing certain topics. These small differences can indicate that something's wrong and deserve to be investigated carefully. Another example would be changes in communication habits, like giving short responses to messages or less interest in talking about daily life. She might even start avoiding meetings or outings that used to be frequent. These behavioral changes can be clues that something's going on behind the scenes of the relationship. So, stay alert to the signs and trust your intuition. So, my friends, these are important signs that shouldn't be ignored. If you identified with any of these signs, know that you're not alone. It's natural to feel worried or even upset, but it's important to address the situation with maturity and calmness. Have an honest conversation with your partner and try to understand what's going on. Always remember to take care of yourself, regardless of the outcome of the situation. Be strong and trust yourself. Well, folks, we've reached the end of today's video. If you liked the content and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to receive notifications of new videos. And now, I want to hear from you. If you've been through a similar situation or have any questions, share them in the comments below. Your participation is very important to us. Until the next video, folks.